Geronimo Stilton, The Hawaiian Heist, Chapter 4. Kealoha on the cliffs. As we left the open sea and approached a small dock, Kai pointed out a house on a cliff. That's Kealoha's house. Her jewelry studio is there, but her store is in Honolulu, on Oahu. After we docked the boat, we walked to the house and Kai rang the bell. When no one answered, he called out, "Kealoha!" There was no reply, but Kai only shrugged. She might be walking around looking for inspiration. Let's go find her. I know all her favorite places. Have you known each other for a long time? I asked Kai. We have been friends since we were baby mouselets, he said. Hercule and I followed Kai around the corner, past a small village, Main Street, and towards a beautiful white sand beach. There by the water stood a young rodent holding a sketchbook. She was wearing a blue dress embroidered with starfish and a white orchid in her long black fur. "Kealoha, over here!" Kai called, blushing all the way to the tips of his whiskers. She walked towards us and smiled, extending her paw. "I'm so glad you're here. I hope you can help me." She shook her head sadly. "Let's go up to the house and I'll tell you more about the necklace." "What were you drawing?" I asked, curious, as we walked back the way we came. She opened her sketchbook as we walked. "I'm working on a design for a pair of earrings. I'm finding it hard to concentrate in the house because of all the attempted break-ins." Her whiskers drooped. Kai looked concerned. "I don't want to add to your troubles," he said, "but I thought you'd want to see this." He pulled a newspaper article from his back pocket. Kealoha frowned as she read the article. "I'm so happy and grateful to be making the wedding jewelry, but I don't like this kind of publicity. I wanted mouselets to hear about my work in a positive way. And I had no idea that Madame No would take losing our friendly competition so badly." She handed the paper back to Kai. Kealoha led us through the village and into her house. She offered us glasses of sweet pineapple juice and bowls of hapia, a delicious coconut pudding. While we were enjoying our snack, she took out photos of the Fabumouse necklace she'd crafted for the wedding. "We are keeping it in Honolulu store for safekeeping," she said. Holy Swiss cheese! The necklace was mouse-tacular. It was made to look like a Hawaiian lei, and the jeweled flowers in the garland were so sparkly they almost glowed. The delicate clasp at the top of the necklace had an inscription that read, "Our love is as beautiful as a flower." As we were marveling over the necklace, Kai brought out some more photos. "Here are the images from the store cameras," he said. "Someone broke in 3 times but was never able to open the locked display case where the necklace is kept. Thankfully, they couldn't figure out the code," Kealoha said. "First, they tried the window. Then, they tried the gate. Finally, they tried to deactivate the alarm." "It's aloha!" Kai blurted out. He blushed red from his tail to the tips of his ears. "Oops, I shouldn't have said that." He looked over at Kealoha, but she only smiled. "It's okay. They should know the code anyway," she said. Hercules pored over the surveillance photos with his magnifying glass. The thief was clever enough to avoid having his snout captured by the cameras. But look! In this photo, you can see a little bit of sleeve. The rodent is wearing a pink wetsuit. "The Super Surfer race will be taking place on Oahu Island," Kealoha said. "The starting line is right by my store." I stroked my whiskers. Could the thief be posing as one of the competitors, I wondered out loud. "I have an idea," Hercules squeaked. "Geronimo will sign up for the Super Surfer race so he can blend in with the other competitors and keep an eye on your store." "Moldy mozzarella! I'm a mouse, not a fish," I cried. "I don't know how to surf." "Don't worry," Kai said. He patted me on the back. "I will teach you everything you need to know." He looked confident, but I was shaking in my fur. Hercules stood and gestured to me. "Come on, Geronimo, time to go. I need a nap, and maybe a piece of cheesy toast to get my brain working." I sighed, waved goodbye to Kai and Kealoha, and followed Hercules out of the house. What had I gotten myself into? You call this a vacation? The next morning, I woke up and stretched my paws over my head. The smell of the ocean coming in my window was so refreshing, I almost forgot I had a case to help solve. I started flipping through the tourist brochure that was sitting on my nightstand. Might as well try and relax now that I was here. The first thing I'll do is breakfast. Then I'll go to the spa, and after that, I'll take a walk on the beach, I decided. Maybe I'll try some delicious local food for lunch. I've heard the pineapple cheese is out of this world. I had just picked up the phone to call room service when I heard the knock on my door, and Hercules' voice boomed into my room. "Are you still in bed, you lazy mouse? Kai is here to give you a surfing lesson." Rancid rat tails. I opened the door and Hercules grabbed my paw. "Hurry up," he cried, pulling me down the hall. Behind me, I heard the door slam shut. I was locked out, and I was still wearing my pajamas. "Wait," I cried. But Hercules was not listening. He dragged me all the way to the beach where Kai was waiting for us. Just then, a group of tourists from the Mouse Island walked by us, giggling. Isn't that the famous reporter, Geronimo Stilton? I heard a mouse whisper, what a funny-looking swimsuit. I groaned and covered my snout with my paws, but Kai laughed. Don't worry, Geronimo. I have an extra swim trunks you can borrow. He dug around in his knapsack and pulled out an enormous pair of shorts. Hurry and put these on so we can start our lesson. If only he knew I was in no hurry, but I accepted the swim trunks and I went to change. When I returned, Kai had set 2 surfboards in the sand. Hercules lounged nearby on a towel, eating the snacks he had brought with him. Now, nice outfit, Hercules called, and I scowled. Don't pay any attention to him, Kai said. Come try out your board. I trudged through the sand and placed a tentative paw on my surfboard. Slimy Swiss cheese. How do I let Hercules talk me into things like this? But Kai was a good teacher. He had me lie down on the board and practice getting up into a standing position over and over and over again. He really worked my whiskers off. Soon I was sweatier than a cheese slice left out in the sun, but Kai was only getting started. Now let's try out your new moves on some real waves, he said. Just remember to stay away from the coral. It's very sharp and can slice your tail off. And when we get close to the reef, keep an eye out for moray eels. They can bite you. Oh, and most of all, watch out for the jellyfish. If they sting you, it will burn like crazy. Thundering cattails. Is that all? Or is there anything else that can kill me? Of course not, Kai ruffled the fur on my head, except for sharks. But don't be a worry rat. You see their fins coming from a mile away. Squeak! I've changed my mind. Surfing's not for me. I don't want to be sliced, zapped, stung, or eaten up. I just want to sunbathe on the beach. Kai burst out laughing. It's too late to get cold paws, Geronimo. You'll be fine, I promise. I believe in you, Geronimo. Hercules called from his beach towel. He flipped through the mystery novel he had brought with him and took a bite of banana. I was outnumbered. Reluctantly, I waded into the water, and for the next... Takeoff, aerial, pop-up, floater, tube riding. Few hours, ran drills with Kai. I waited for waves and tried to stand up on my board. It didn't go well. I couldn't catch any waves. Finally, a perfect wave approached and Kai and I paddled out. This is it. You can do it, he called to me. I timed it out and jumped to standing, just as Kai had taught me. I'm doing it, I yelled. But my happiness quickly turned to terror as I felt a sharp stinging sensation on my tail. Help! A jellyfish stung me! Call 911, I squeaked. It's just me, Geronimo. Hercules floated by my surfboard wearing a jellyfish hat. See? He held up a stick he had used to poke my tail. Not funny, I huffed, and I swam back to shore. As I approached our spot in the sand, I noticed Kealoha had arrived to check out our progress. She was sitting on the beach sketching. As I got close, I could see she was sketched Kai riding a big wave. Hello, Kealoha, I said, as she closed her sketchbook abruptly, blushing. Why, hello, Geronimo. Are you a super surfer yet? I shrugged. Keep your paws crossed for me tomorrow. I needed all the luck I could get.